Alright, hi everybody. I'm out here in the shade with my dog. Let's see. And it's another scorching day. It's like 102. Feels like 110. And we had spent some time. I was out here, you see all this wood we cut up. And there's some of the stumps. So it was a pretty good sized tree. And we got it all stacked up here. Let it all dry out. This is just all oak, and we use it for our see our smokers. There's one here, then we got that huge one back there. So that's what we're preparing for. But while I was doing that, I remembered this is the chainsaw I'd use, the Husqvarna 359, and I know I did a bunch of videos on this. One of them was just on a muffler mod, I believe. And I could have sworn, because this one I had replaced the cylinder and the piston and piston rings, you know, all that stuff. This thing had been burned up. Apparently whoever had it before me either ran it way too lean, or you know, just overheated or whatever, and he handed it over to me, so I took it, replaced the cylinder, piston rings, all that good stuff, and it's running like a bat out of hell. And I mean, it was cutting those big stumps right there like butter. I mean, no problem. But the bad thing is, I can't find the videos. I know there was one with you know, the muffler mod that I did publish, but I can't find the video of me, you know, replacing the cylinder and piston. But and that's too bad, because it turned out really good. It's an awesome chainsaw. But that brought me out here. I'm thinking, well, no video on that, but I started thinking maybe this is a good time to kind of go through some of these mowers, because I have a pretty wide selection right now before I sell all these off. I have some of, you know, quite a few different types here, and I don't know if you're curious on what are my favorite mowers. What do I use personally, you know, and why? And let me show you. So all my stuff under here is stuff that I use. Those two mowers, that Edger, Old Faithful there. There's a power washer that I just need to put a pump on. The one I actually use is out in the garage. That generator, all this stuff works, and all the, you know, the weed eaters and stuff. And you can see I got a bunch of Echoes. I got a couple of troy-bilts. Those are I'm actually selling. But I have 2 or 3 Echoes and a Still. But that's besides the point. The mowers here, if you take a look, this is actually my favorite mower. This troy-bilt with the Honda motor, and I guess it matters what size of yard you have. You know, it's because right now this little yard here, it's small. I have a lot of stuff scattered around. We're mowing around a lot of stuff, and the front yard's the same. It's not huge, and you know, we have to go around trees, so you need something. This is just perfect. That it's semi-lightweight. It's not on the heavy side. It's not super light, but it's definitely not on the heavy side. So, and it has the large rear wheels on it. You see that. It's self-propelled, you know, the front wheels. The Honda, it just, very dependable, you know, pulls the first start. And I've had a few of these in the past. I had one almost identical to this, the Troy-Bilt with the Honda motor. I had a Craftsman with a Honda motor, and they were just identical, right? But people just wanted them so bad, I was just selling them off. And this one, I decided, all right, I got to put my foot down and keep one. So this is it, and it cuts nice. It's very reliable, and like I said, it has the the big rear wheels, if I can spit it out. But that's why I like this one. It's a pretty nice one. This other one, it's a snapper, and you can see it has the Briggs & Stratton 725 EX Briggs & Stratton on it. Again, the rear big wheels, so it maneuvers pretty well. It's a little heavier, but it maneuvers real well. The engine has a lot of power to it, and I've had a couple of these. This one's a snapper. This is actually my brother's, and I had a Troy-Bilt that looked identical to the snapper. You know, had the same engine, all that good stuff. But another family member really wanted it, really needed it, so off it goes. And then I just replaced it with this. So these are my two working mowers. And you see the consistent features on it that I like. I like the front wheel drive, and I like the rear big wheels. And then the rest is, you know, preference on you know, on what engine you want. Which of those are two of my favorites. You know, the Honda, and if I want big power, I like the 725 Briggs & Strattons. But that's what I use. And of course there are a lot of good mowers out there, and let me walk back over to these other ones. There are a ton of good mowers out there. Like that one, a Brute, and it's almost like that snapper. This one I'm going to go ahead and replace the piston rings, but it has the this one has rear wheel drive, and it's an electric start, but it doesn't have the rear big wheels, and which is not bad. It's a great mower, but this Honda here, this thing is just amazing. I got it running recently, and the engine, the Honda engine, it just starts, you know, once it just needed a little TLC. Now it starts first pull. It's a rear wheel drive again, and without the big wheels. And that's probably the only reason why this is not my favorite. It's a rear wheel with no big wheels. I like the front wheel with front wheel drive with rear big wheels. This Toro, I just got through doing a few videos on it. Did an engine swap on it, and this one, yeah, I just put it on Craigslist, so it's going to be gone in a couple of days, I think. But it's a pretty nice mower. I would compare it to that snapper too. It has the bigger wheels, front wheel drive, and I put a 675 engine on it. Have some others here, like this Lawn Boy, the 2-cycle. For a long time, this was my favorite mower. I can get this junk off of it. So I used to really dig to the 2-strokes. It's always handy to have one on hand for some reason. And this was on my other property where, like right here, it's a real small yard. You just whip around. Over on the other property, it's, you know, I have like about 120, 120 acres or so, and we have about 3 acres that we mow. And of course we have, you know, lawn tractors and stuff out there too, but with this one we could take out, you know, because we have ditches and culverts and all that good stuff, and this thing was great. I mean, you know, you can run through and you know, run through all the ditches and culverts and not have to worry about oil circulating around, or and it would just plow through anything. It used to be just so heavy duty. That one, it's another Lawn Boy. It's a later model, has the bigger Duramax engine on it, but I need to check the seals on it. The other way, this one, this is an Ariens, and you can see it has the front pillar wheels. And an older Tecumseh engine, but this Tecumseh, for some reason, I've never had problems with. This one, just a massive rear wheel drive. It has the same drive link. You can see it's just heavy duty down there, similar to what you see on snow blowers. And you know, it has a larger set of rear wheels, not too big, but it actually maneuvers around pretty well, and it gives you that zero turn kind of feel when you're, you know, turning around and rolling around with it. But to tell you the truth, it's just way too much mower for what I need over here. This thing is massive. I mean, the deck on it is just so thick, very thick and heavy. You know, who knows, I might take this one out to the property too. There's just been no demand for this out here. I was actually trying to sell it pretty cheap, but I still have it. I've had it. Nobody's. I've had it, I guess, since the last summer. Has it been a whole year? And nobody has bought it. But anyway, so you can see, and over here, those I have pieced out, you know, those older Briggs & Stratton engines, which they ran forever. These were kind of abused, and the ones I've saved I've already sold, but those are decent mowers too. I mean, so there's so many mowers to choose from. And when you're choosing one, just kind of, it's hot out here, guys. But so when you're choosing one, always consider the size of your yard, the conditions of the yard. Is it hilly? Is it bumpy? Is it just a smooth cut, just a smooth yard, or is it kind of a rough yard? I mean, like this one here, it's not big, it's not rough, and I needed something that I can maneuver around. And for a while I had, it was a Craftsman, just a push mower, but it had a Briggs & Stratton 6-horse with pretty big rear wheels, gigantic big wheels, matter of fact. And actually that's the one that I kept the most. I had it for 15 years probably, and why I sold it, I don't know. It didn't have the it actually still had a throttle on it, right? It was before, you know, didn't have the governor and, you know, automatic stuff on it. So, but it was very dependable, and it suited my needs perfect, right? Just for a smaller yard, something very maneuverable. And but if I had a larger yard, of course, you know, you got to think about, well, is it big enough to do a riding mower with? But at the other property, it's quite large, but even with a push mower or a regular lawnmower to go around and get all the detail stuff around everything, sometimes it's a rough terrain and I needed something pretty heavy duty, and so that's why I used that 725 Troy-Bilt with the big wheels on it. It would plow through it quite a bit. I think this Ariens will probably do the same for me. But that's it, I guess. That's what I use and why I use it. My favorite is it's the troy-bilt with the Honda engine, and it's been a nice mower. But that's it. So if you're out looking for mowers, you know, just take into account, you know, what best suits your needs, and then you can, you know, it's just a matter of preference on brand or engine or whatever, you know. But I guess that's it. Just a real quick video on some of my equipment and what I use and why. So that's it. Just stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe and keep a lookout for my next project.